Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormy B Man, and I am back. Welcoming you to the Tuesday Tussle for this Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. We're calling this particular episode Choices and Paths. You know, it's a concept, a construct that we experience in our everyday lives, in which sometimes we find ourselves in a constant battle. The battle for your placement, the battle for where you presently find yourself, your ambition and desire to reach another place, and how to plan and go about achieving the goal. Some of us don't have a plan, and thereby not having one, chaos can come into play and cause disruptive, distraction, and devastation for your plight. The same could be said in the sport of boxing. And so when we're here and we find ourselves dealing with such, sometimes we have to take a step back. Sometimes we might have to seek assistance, if not help, externally. And yet and still at other times, looking within may be the greater point of correctiveness and to turn the corner, to turn over a new leaf so that you may get moving again. So that's what the subject is this evening. I thank anyone and everyone that's decided to come in this evening to hear a little bit of this talk. I was deciding at the last minute whether or not I would go through. I knew what I wanted to talk about, but sometimes rest, the realization that you may need to step away, and then the understanding of why you may be needed all became a part of my decision. This is the first Tuesday Tussle of the new year, welcoming anyone and everyone that is here with me this evening and hoping that you've come into the new year at least starting out from a good place. If not, we pray for peace for you, that you can get to the place that you would like to be. Yeah. Prayer still works, people. Prayer works for us all. We just have to be invested in that, because the word tells us that faith without works is dead. So I want to be a little more mindful of that as well, because I am a believer. And I'm not ashamed to say that. But there are moments and times when we find ourselves where we're not so flashy to show it. Remember, the word speaks about if you hide your faith and belief in He, will hide you from His consideration and favor. Yeah. True that. So, we're here for choices and paths. You know, in the sport of boxing, we have fighters who compete at the top levels of the sport. And so oftentimes they're in position to have not only breakout moments, but determining moves in what they do. One example of that I like to call to mind is when you have two champions, because we are in that era of multiple champions. They don't want to face one another because they don't want to risk what they have achieved. They don't want a blemish on what they may be proud of. And they don't want to necessarily lose their position, consideration, or status. Well, that's not really your place to determine what is retained, what is achieved, what is considered, what is favored, and all of that. What your position is to move. and take action. The outcome is already determined, whether you realize and understand how that works or not. And it has nothing to do with what you think about it. Give me an example of what I'm talking about. You ever heard the expression where someone says, "Man, I didn't know you had it in you"? Or you might have said at some point, "Man, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't realize I could do it." There you go. You see? Because just like you don't know where you will be 1 hour from now, you may think and have a plan that I'm going to be right there at home chilling. But something can happen to pull you out of your home. Something can get you to get up and move out of the home. You may even get an emergency call from someone that you know, totally unexpected, and are drawn away. You see? There's proof in what I just said. Many of us do not live our lives with that type of understanding. So fighters, the men who get punched in the face for a living, if you ask them, why do they do it? Many of them will tell you, you know what? I just like to fight. Ever since I was such and such, I've been a fighting person. It's just something in me. Just like you don't have a total grip on that determining factor, all else falls into play in this conversation about that. I'd like to see top fighters of today face one another because I don't understand where their objectives happen to be. Some give the impression that they want the brass ring. Others show you exactly that the gold is their objective. Others still remain intertwined with the battle itself. Notwithstanding the corrupt scumbag promoters who will get in the way, who will block, create detours, distractions, side shows, and deny what should happen. The fighters still are the ones who can be the most in determining what takes place. As a supporter of the sport, we need to also demand the excellence of the participants. Not to put one down in preference of another, but to build all parties up, to make them feel confident in their ability to do what they do. The best of the coaches and trainers try to prepare their subjects to face, come what may, the unknown. You know, when I was a younger man, I worked in an automotive shop. And though I was learning a great deal on the job, there were master technicians. Now, a master tech is someone who is so versed in the field of automotive service that they can break a motor down to all of its functions and what does what. And they have a tool set that's all encompassing, whatever the job requires. If it's a simple tune-up or changing brakes or working on pistons, there are tools for the trade. And I remember looking over one particular master tech's tooled gear. And I asked him, I said, man, I know this was expensive acquiring all of this. He said, well, what happened is along my way, there were the basic tools that I needed to start out. And then as I became more experienced as to what I would deal with, I would look toward ordering or purchasing tools for a particular job to do because it is an expense. And you learn what the tools do and how they work. And then sometimes you have apprenticeships where you pick up because of what's unfamiliar. Doesn't that sound a lot like boxing? When you have a coach and trainer who is set to give you exactly what's needed as you go on your journey. Now, for the journey of the individual participating in the sport, if you're not learning, if there is no fulfillment of receiving something on your track toward what you do, you may have to make the adjustments of who's the mentor. But that's not something that you can determine as a novice just starting out, as someone that's just being introduced. But you keep your eyes open to what's happening around you and how others are either elevating or becoming stagnated in what they do and then don't seem to improve. Pay attention to that. Because sometimes it could be a mirror for you. Other times, yet and still, it could be a message for you, a lesson. See, we are all born into life taking an L. And oftentimes, many people feel that taking the L means you're losing. But remember, we have a creator that brought us forth, spoke us into existence. And so therefore, there is a predestined state of existence. So that L ultimately is the lesson. And what should go along with that? You're listening. Because without listening, you lose out on the lesson. Yeah. I'm going to take a quick moment and acknowledge some of the people that have come into the building. We don't have a lot this evening, but we have a few. And a few is more than enough. The brother Drew Titan in the building. The CDB is in the building. Universal Truth. Columbia is back with us. Stephen Elder Mack, what's good with you? Blaze, pound for pound. Yeah. Jamal Davis is in both the Rumble stream as well as the Stormy B Man YouTube stream. Thank you for being in both places, bro. Thank you for writing to let me know. Yeah, much appreciated. We are multi-streaming over 2 channels this evening, Rumble and YouTube. The Painful Excellence podcast as well as Bear Cave has joined as well. Yeah. You see, sometimes just having a conversation can do so much for people. It doesn't always have to be in entertainment mode. Sometimes we may need to reach one another through contact of coming together of minds. It's important. It's actually essential. So as we do this, I do it with the understanding of knowing how important it is what I project out to you. The simple thing that I ask of you is your interaction and participation, because it assists me with being motivated for that. The word for that is reciprocal. To give and receive. To receive from giving. Yin and yang. Yeah. You see how that works? It's very important to acknowledge that as well. I've been on the air for about 25 minutes now. And I'm almost certain that not one of you had any idea that this type of conversation would be for the show. But you tune in and you say, let me see what Stormy is talking about. Where else do you get this type of boxing conversation? I'll wait. You can list it in the chat. See, again, to be motivated, to have objectives, to have ambition, desire. This is not about money. This is about reaching a place of depth within people and feeling the vibe and appreciation and the reception of the interaction. That's very important to me. Painful Excellence podcast says, nowhere. Tim TV says, only from the sensei. Stephen L says, you know, I appreciate you, Sensei. Yeah. But I don't say that with ego. Let me understand. Let me explain. I say that because it's an acknowledgement for understanding what's warranted and how I can lock myself in to having value. You see? I mean, I can cut up and be funny sometimes and everything, but there's a time and place for everything. But at the same time, you should definitely be serious about receiving spiritual, emotional, psychological vitamin. That's something that you can carry with you that no one can take from you. Salute to Charles Toole out there that says, hey, Stormy, finally subscribe to you. Thanks to Drew Tight. Thank you, brother. We appreciate that. Stephen L says 6 a.m. driving home from work. Hell, you can call and I pick up just to chat with you, young fella, while I wait wait for kids to get ready for school. Yes, sir. Stephen L is one of the young brothers that I've had a chance to be blessed with forming a friendship. And for any other brothers out there that I talk to behind the scenes, OG Mr. Mont, Junior the Truth, and so forth and so on, there's so many now. These guys know that I'm the same off the airways as I am on the airways. And in fact, I could be a little bit more intense off the airways, because on the airways, of course, you are subject to what they call it, censorship, to be plain and simple and honest about it. And my exchanges and interactions are quite genuine. It's not based on a need other than to make the contact because it's important to do so. I had a wonderful conversation this afternoon with the general. There are some of them that hear from me more than others, but at the same time, that doesn't mean I look down or frown upon any of it. I welcome it, because especially when people are reaching out to me, because you never know. You never know what a conversation, a kind word, a word of motivation can do for someone. They could be at the very last ebb of effort. And after a simple exchange with them, you can drive them forward and they can go another 1,000 miles just because of that interaction. I had to use one of my filthy analogies today when I was working. And the person asked me about dealing with the moment. There was some things going on. There's like some construction going on in the workplace and everything, remodeling project, you know. And I was asked, don't you think it, this is difficult or whatever? I said, but it's necessary. And I have to adjust to what's happening to get through to the finished product, you know? And I said, they say, well, maybe you should take some before and after pictures. And I said, why? I've been here for X amount of time. And when it's finished, it'll be new and it'll be something else. I said, do you worry about when you flush, where it goes, the before and the after? You just are happy that it goes, right? You don't want what was in the past to back up, huh? And I was given a look and a burst of laughter because it wasn't expected to be said in that instance right there on the moment. But it's like, oh, yeah, I get your drift, huh? Life is that way. It's that way. Embrace it. Embrace what it has to offer. So that's where I find myself sometimes. And there's strength and motivation in that, you know? Because you realize sometimes that you're a lot stronger than you thought. And then there are other times when you realize that you're more vulnerable than you believed. Yin and yang. You see? It's there. There was some news that came down the pipeline this afternoon that there is talk that Anthony Joshua may be stepping away from the sport in retirement as a result of a lot of what he had to deal with the loss of his friends from his terrible accident. And I was thinking about unfinished business, you know, how a young man who had the opportunity to really show the world his position, how great he could be potentially or not. And his two contemporaries, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, he never faced them. Even when the fight was right there in front of him, he never faced those guys. Now, Fury and Wilder, they faced one another 3 times. And not to go into the particularities of those interactions, at least the ground was broken for it to happen. But Joshua was turned into something else. You know the saying, for entertainment purposes only. At the end of the day, that may be what defines his place in boxing. And that's unfortunate, because there was a time when I thought that he had a great deal of potential in front of him where he could be elevated. And then there was a moment where everything kind of stopped. And it became more about the financial aspect of things, having control over the heavyweight division, facing some adversaries and avoiding others. And this situation takes me back to the early 90s when we had the likes of Bo, Lewis, Holyfield. Tyson was away. Now, Holyfield faced Bo 3 times, Lewis twice. Bo and Lewis never faced one another, and it was Bo's decision. Lewis went on to become the man out of that era of all four, and the fourth is Tyson. Tyson faced Holyfield and Lewis, but not Bo. Now, when you think about it, the one who had all of the fanfare, the one who had all of the public sentiment and attention was Tyson. But he was the worse for wear. And you heard me speak of him being away because he was put away in the institution. It's unfortunate that that had to be the path for him. But when he came back to join the sport, he didn't seek out greatness. He sought out opportunity, and he sought out the financial means of it all. But people still give him this respect today as if he accomplished like what Lennox did. And Lennox is far more accomplished, believe it or not. And though Evander happens to be my favorite fighter, I give the credit to Lewis for being the man of that era. That's a true loving person for the sport. To acknowledge where greatness is and comes from, regardless of what your personal feeling might be. So imagine about 15 to 20 years from now, when they have conventions, when they have meetups and things of that nature, and Deontay and Tyson and AJ happen to be at a venue where they all cross paths. And you'll hear the crowd ask questions. Journalists, why did you guys never get it on? Just like Riddick Bowe does today. And it eats him up. He hates it. Choices and paths. You see? It's a deep thing, man. The guys who are chasing the bag, there will never be enough coin. And the reason for that is because of ego, circumstances that you have no control over, and just plain greed and ignorance. Think about it, people. To not move the needle, but it was only for a superficial reason. Do you now see the strength of what Bud Crawford had done after his victory over Canelo Alvarez? You see, that victory put him in a place of not only financial security, but achievement and the acknowledgement of accomplishment. Yeah. And it goes a great deal further and toward why you do what you do. Now, there are some who are selfishly saying, oh man, he retired because he still got some stuff on the table. He got things to do or whatever. No, he's walking his own path. But he made his choice along that way. He said he's been boxing since he was 7 years old. A child. What were you doing when you were 7 years old, besides leaving tired tracks in your underwear and running around with snot coming out your nose? Huh? Think about it. Choices and paths. Want to take a quick moment and acknowledge a Cash App donation from the brother Del Real. He says, salute Stormy. We appreciate your donation to the show and the channel, brother, and your support for me, man. Thank you so much. You see, sometimes when you give something like that, and I'm able to acknowledge it on the air, if you guys notice, I don't often say what the amount is or whatever, because there's no judgment on what comes in. If you have just a little to give, you've given a great deal. If you have a lot to give, it doesn't place you over anyone else. It's all a part of the support network. And the mere fact that someone would want to support is deeply appreciated, which is why I've told guys, it's like, especially if I don't have my PayPal open and you happen to leave a donation to PayPal and you didn't tell me in the chat, hey, Stormy, PayPal. If I missed your Cash App while I was live or a tip or something, I will go to my post page in the aftermath and leave you an @ that I've acknowledged what you've done. Or if I know that I'm streaming again soon, I'll acknowledge it that way too. But it's what I do and how I do what I do. I'm not telling anybody or even suggesting, but I'm letting you know how I handle it. Salute to EJ over there in the Rumble. Says, phenomenal content, Sensei. I always learn something new from this phenomenal sport of boxing. Thank you so much, brother, over there on Rumble. Yeah. It goes by fast, doesn't it? The hour that I take out. Do you know why time seems to escape? You've heard of the expression spending time. Now think about it in this regard. What is the value of what you're spending? What are you spending? Oh, yeah. Choices and paths. There were some who came in probably just to see what I was talking about. I'd like to think that they came in to hit my like button, but that doesn't always show up. But for the core that just hung in there, you get the greater consideration from me because for me, it's always a slow grind. But you get the most sincere effort out of what I do. And I tried to dot my I's and cross my T's and punctuate. I may make a slip up here and there, but I'm always bringing my best effort forward. Salute to the brother, Universal Truth out there, reminding me to check the PayPal as I am doing currently. We appreciate that support coming from Universal. He says, salute, Stormy, appreciate the knowledge and wisdom. And I appreciate your support, brother. You've been supporting quietly in your own way. And, you know, you're consistent like that. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool what you do. We got someone out there. Salute to Chinmuku _no_te. It's my first time seeing you out there. If I'm not pronouncing the name correctly, forgive me. He says salute and respect, Sensei. Salute to you. If you had another @ that I'm not familiar with, you can write it in the chat what that was, but I'm unfamiliar with that name. And I hope like I said, I pronounced it correctly. Hen Dog is in the building saying, "Salute Sensei, I'm just off work." And that's a dope name. Okay. Is that a character from anime or something? Because it sounds like a Japanese type of deal, but you know. Oh, it's an I Rock. Okay, I Rock. I got you. Yeah, you see, and I'm humble enough to acknowledge if I don't know something, I'll say it. You know what I mean? I don't try to be brash like I think I know everything. I don't, you know? He says it means silent hand in Japanese. Okay. Now, see, I just learned something, huh? Silent hand. Yeah, that's what's up. But did I pronounce it correctly? Chinmuku underscore no underscore te? You know, I watch Asian fare, so not necessarily anime, but Japanese gangster movies, samurai films, you know, and martial art films. I'm aware of those. Nobody makes gangster movies like the Japanese. He said Chin Moku. Yeah, okay. Chin Moku. I got you. And like Hen Dog says, that is a cool name. That's what's up. See, I know some people they be out there watching and they don't want to write in the chat, but I can interact with you guys, man. The only thing I don't have any tolerance for is the trolls, the people who try to come in and be disrespectful and things like that. But you know, if you notice, I don't put a lot of focus on that. And when that does cross the plate, I know how to, you know, keep it moving and to keep them moving on about. Yes, sir. Hen Dog says Silent Hand can be an NCU group. Oh man, they are the worst. Yeah. But we coming up on the top of the hour, people. And this has been a great talk because, again, like I said, the time passes fast, but the subject is very important. And I hope that anyone who took part in this for any length of time were able to take something positive away from it. It's eclectic, but at the same time, it's essential. Being able to do this is very uplifting for me. Chinmuku says, Sonny Chiba is one of my favorite actors, and I was stationed in Japan for 3 years. Sonny Chiba was an amazing entertainer, man. And he is a student, a direct student of Mas Oyama. So, you know, to be taught by such a warrior and to become so prominent as an entertainer himself. Sonny Chiba actually tried to play his sensei in a film called Champion of Death, to be remade almost 35 years later as Fighter in the Wind, a Korean production. Hey, amazing stuff there. Amazing stuff there. Yeah, you see Shinmoku? Now, I intend to do a Kung Fu film focus on that film, Fighter in the Wind, because it's one of the most amazing biofilms in the martial arts that I have ever seen. He has quite a story. But it's nice to know that you have that connection. See, we get to talking and you find out I know a little something, and then you have an experienced side of that subject and everything. This is why they say conversation rules the nation. Snoopy Mac has fallen into the building. What's good with you? Salute to you. Yeah. Dog was saying I have to go back and recap the lesson of today's show. Yeah, please do, because again, it's a great conversation. And I can always revisit my subjects because they can go even deeper than where I stop or end off at, you know? And that's why I keep it short, because an hour is cool, get in and out, you know? But we be back the following week. So just know that's how I try to do things around here, you know? So with that said, you guys, I'm gonna get ready to get on out of here. And for those that did come in late, please go back and catch the replay from the beginning. It's worth the time. Yeah, it's worth the time. So we're gonna head on out of here. And I hope you guys have a fulfilling rest of the week. And we look to catch you next week. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. And we up out of here. Peace to you all.